Good morning. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners. I invite you all to rise with me for an invocation by Lauren Coleman from Young Life Church, and please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thanks. Let's pray. Oh God, we pause. We recognize that you are powerful, that you are sovereign, that you are good and faithful. And so in that we recognize our need for you. And so I pray this morning that you will give wisdom and guidance to our leaders here as they lead this community, this county. Thankful for their service, and Lord, thankful for the community that you've given us to be a part of. Help us to serve. I'm mindful also of those who are grieving the loss of so much through Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. And Lord, I ask that you will lead governments and churches and organizations into how to recover and restore, to bring hope and comfort to all those who are suffering loss. And so, Lord, we thank you for what you've promised and you're faithful to do. And Lord, we know that it is by your grace through Jesus that we have the fulfillment of these promises. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let's do roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Payne.
Present.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
County Clerk Barr.
Present.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Bryant.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Koch.
Present.
Let's move on to the approval of today's agenda. I am not aware of any changes that we need to make.
Neither I, Madam Chair, make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. I was prepared to do the same. We have a motion and second on the floor to approve today's agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Let's move to today's consent agenda. I would note we are currently scheduling 2 public hearings out for October the 10th at 10 o'clock a.m. The first will be a special review use permit for a mobility tower on Dozier Avenue. This is actually a smaller pole for cell phone towers than what you typically see. And the second hearing that we are scheduling at the same time on October 10th at 10 a.m. is another request for a special review use permit. This is for South 40 Recreation, Canyon City East Pit. This is on both sides of McKenzie Avenue, just north of the Arkansas River. So if you have any interest in either of those, please plan on either attending or sending us comments prior to October 10th at 10 a.m.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's consent agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Let's move right into administrative and informational topics. We'll begin with staff and elected officials. Katie Barr, our county clerk, has her monthly report for us. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning.
Morning.
My report is for the month of August. The total motor vehicle fees, sales taxes, and recording fees collected for August was $1,317,094. Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $708,716.06, which is 54% of the total fees collected, and is $40,272.02 more than August of last year. Year to date, our office is up $477,016.61 from last year.
Thank you so much. So things are continuing to look good. I also would just mention briefly, I know Sunny might speak about this, but we're getting ready to start working on our budget for 2018, and I think we've already got a lot of requests for some of those additional revenues that the county is getting. So with that,
Make a motion that we accept the county clerk's monthly report.
Second.
it has been moved and seconded to accept the county clerk's report for the month of August 2017. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And let's turn next to our county manager, Sunny Bryant, who has a report for us. Good morning, Sunny.
Good morning. So as Commissioner Bell said, we are in the middle of our budget season, so we do have a lot of requests coming in. We're compiling those right now, and we start meeting with the commissioners next week. And so we will have very rough budgets ready for next week, and then we'll have a final budget to present to the board around October 15th. And then we still make some changes and tweaks all the way up until final approval. So we'll have a public hearing in November. So there's lots going on in that area, and we're pretty excited to move forward and start seeing, you know, what everything's looking like. Along those lines, we did have the residential assessment rate had changed this year. So for the property tax piece, although valuations went up, the taxes that each homeowner is paying is probably about the same. And so just kind of note that even though values went up, that doesn't mean that there's any additional revenue for any of the entities around. So that has been something that we're also looking at as we're going into the budget season. So a few meetings that I had attended throughout the week, or throughout the last couple weeks. So one event that we really enjoyed was on August 23rd, the elected officials in this building had hosted an employee picnic. And I really appreciate what all of the elected officials do to kind of make the staff feel appreciated. And so it was a very nice event. We had great hot dogs. They weren't quite as good as last year's, but they were okay. Commissioner McFall filled Commissioner Norton's shoes, and so he did a good job in cooking. And so we appreciate all of that. And then a few things, we've had various meetings with City of Canyon City, both City Council and employees, and then City of Florence as well. So it's always good to see what's going on in those neighboring communities and what they're working on right now. And then I'm still working with Lisa Rowe at the courthouse, along with the district attorney's office as well, to see if we can go for some grant funds to do some renovation projects out at the courthouse. We're also working with Search and Rescue right now to see if we can go for some grant funds to try to build a new Search and Rescue building as well. So we have lots of projects going along. The sheriff security project, we've had a few stumbling blocks throughout the way, but that is well underway now, and it seems to be going well, and so we're just moving along.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Sunny.
Thank you.
Great report. There are so many things happening right now. So speaking of things happening, I would like to mention Saturday is Pioneer Day in Florence. The parade starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they're honoring some really great folks this year. I know Waikita Winton and Jean Williard are just two of those people, and they have been in that community for so many years, and they have devoted their time and talents and efforts, and they really have made Florence truly a great little place to live. So we hope to see you all there. This board will again be in the parade, and we got to put on that smile and wave. So make sure you're ready for that. Also, I'm not certain, but I believe, no, I don't see it on here. If we're going to be talking later about the Fremont County Air Show that's going to be happening on Saturday as well. So a lot of to do, a lot going on, and I just urge everyone to get out and take advantage of everything that we have going on here. So, commissioners, anything further?
Well, I'll just backtrack a little bit. Last weekend, last Friday, Commissioner McFall and I attended the 9/11 ceremony at the high school, and of course that's always a somber event, but it was noted that the incoming freshmen this year are the first class in the high school that wasn't born yet with 9/11. And so it's turned into kind of an educational deal as well, and to keep the memory alive, and so we do not forget.
Absolutely. It was a great ceremony. I have one thing to bring up that we've had events in Florence. We've had them in the western Fremont County, but the electronics recycling event is in Canyon City this Saturday, it's next Saturday, September 23rd, 10 to 1 o'clock at 816 Royal Gorge Boulevard, which is the Bank of the San Juans. So they'll be there and collecting electronics for recycling at a lower cost. The county helps to subsidize some of this money to make it cheaper for our residents. So it's a good deal, and it's a good way to get rid of those TVs sitting in your yard that we can't throw away anywhere else. They charge by the inch on the screens, and there's monitors, CPUs, microwaves, all that kind of stuff, but this is available online let me see, at the Council of Governments website, yeah. Or I have a phone number too here, if anybody's interested in it, to call Beth, 275-1675.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other staff or informational reports? Okay, we turn next to citizens who may wish to address the commissioners on a matter not scheduled on today's agenda. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to get up and speak? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. We have no old business on today's agenda, so we'll jump right into new business. First item is a special event permit, Equine Lameness Prevention Organization Incorporated, Penrose Park and Recreation Apple Day event. This is an event, looks like it's going to be held October 7th from 2 to 9 p.m. We have with us this morning Carrie Miller and Tina Hefner to talk about the event. So, all right. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about what's happening and what you're hoping to do?
Sure. Apple Day is annual. It's our 32nd annual, I believe, 38th annual in Penrose. The park is just trying to create a good social environment. We had ELPO, which is the organization that I belong to, sponsored the beer garden last year, and it went really well. We had security, no problems, no anything. So we would just like to offer that for the community. We've got some bluegrass and music throughout the day, kids events as well. So we're hoping it'll be a fun thing for everybody in the community.
Okay, so who provides the security for the event?
D&D in Canyon City, I believe is what they're called.
Okay, so you contract with a professional firm?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And who does the serving of the beer?
We have to have certified people who have certified in, I don't know if I think it's called Serve Safe, something along the lines of that. Chuck with the brewing, or the Coors, I can't think of the name, I'm sorry. But he requires that people are certified to serve. So right now I've got 2 people that are certified, and they have people that have certifications as well.
Okay, so will they also be checking IDs, or will IDs be checked previously and
They will be
folks
checking
banned it?
IDs, and everybody has to provide an ID, whether they're 80 or, just barely 21. Because of the safety, we've done it in Florence as well. That way, if they've lost their license and they're not allowed to drive or do anything along the lines of that, then they have to have everybody will have a wristband that is allowed. And they have to stay within the area allotted. They can't leave that area.
So that was my next question. Is
yep.
there actually a fenced-off space for this beer garden?
Last year we did barricades, and we're fully prepared to do barricades again. We're purchasing a big canopy. The Park and Rec is planning on purchasing a big canopy, and that has walls as well. So we will have that area as well, and anything that's open from there will be barricaded.
Okay. Tina, do you have anything you would like to add?
Well, we're pretty excited. We've got a lot of events that day. As you know, we always do the pet parade. We have volleyball, and we have horseshoe competitions. Grass It Up will be the featured band. We're doing a variety show that will showcase individuals from throughout Fremont County that have talent. We will have food vendors this year, which we did not have last year, and it will culminate at the end of the evening with what we hope is a beautiful fireworks display.
And what time will that happen?
That will probably happen around 8 to 8:30. We will be starting shortly after 1 o'clock. Well, actually, 1 o'clock is when the pet parade starts. So we have bounce houses, games for the kids. We have a lot of activities scheduled to continue the tradition from Broadway and the Chamber of Commerce and all the work they're doing.
And there's no charge for those who attend?
There's no charge.
All right, thank you. Okay, gentlemen, do you have further questions of our applicant?
Along with the beer garden, I see that you have also have wine in a building, and I assume that they're confined to the building?
Yes, they are confined to the building. The theme for Apple Day is over the years, so they were hoping to do that as kind of a speakeasy. The chamber is actually sponsoring that event so that they can do bingo type license. They have a bingo license so that they can do games and stuff like that. It's a fundraising event as well.
Okay, but
It's just in that building
Right.
is where that's located, and that is confined to that building. They will not be able to leave that building.
But the wine is underneath this.
Yes, it is
Permit.
under
Okay.
this permit, yes.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, does our county clerk's office have any kind of a report that you would like to add to this?
Just that the application is complete. They posted, everything was in order there. Sid and the sheriff have both signed off with no problems. And they also have a letter from the Park and Rec District saying that they have permission to use that property.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Katie. We do have copies of those items in our folders here, so we've seen the fee has been paid, and it looks like everything is finished and ready to go. So,
Okay.
further questions, discussion?
Madam Chair, make a motion that we approve the special event permit for the Equine Lameness Prevention Organization for the Penrose Park Recreation Apple Day event, October 7th.
Second that.
It has been motioned and seconded to approve a special event permit for the Equine Lameness Prevention Organization, October 7th, and the start time we're given is 2 p.m., correct?
Yes, that's when any alcohol would be served.
And it will
would
be
not
cut off at 9.
And it will be cut off at 9. The park closes at 9.
All right,
so.
thank you. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne,
Aye?
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right, thank you, and
Thank you.
best
Thank
of
you.
luck
Thank
to
you.
you.
Everyone will come out that day.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be there. Try to keep us away. Second item under new business today is the ratification of signatures on Resolution 27, a resolution in recognition and appreciation of the vital emergency services provided by first responders in Fremont County, Colorado. I believe this would be the resolution that Commissioner Payne just discussed. So do you have further discussion? Anything else you wanted to say about this?
No, this is the resolution we spoke of, or I read off on last Friday for that ceremony on 9/11, and it was well received, and along with the other speakers that day.
So we typically read resolutions. Are we interested in reading our resolution today?
Well, I guess we could. It'll just take a couple of minutes.
I think it's an important thing, so
Sure
I,
it is, yeah.
It is.
I have it on my screen. I could.
Okay.
Okay, you go ahead.
I wasn't there.
You've got it up.
I actually do have it up, so,
All
okay.
right.
All right, if you'll all bear with me, I just think that there are some very important words here that I would like to share with those of you who did not make it to Citizens Stadium last Friday. This is resolution number 27, series of 2017, a resolution in recognition and appreciation of the vital emergency services provided by first responders in Fremont County, Colorado. Whereas police, fire, medical, and other emergency services are a fundamental cornerstone of civil society, and whereas first responders, professional and volunteer alike, are the first line of defense for the public against threats that may put our communities and citizens at risk. And whereas first responders accept the challenges and responsibilities that go along with their chosen field, performing their duties without a second thought or personal regard to serve and protect others in their time of need. And whereas first responders across Fremont County stand ready 24 hours a day to come to the aid of all citizens. And whereas first responders have committed themselves to a life of serving and helping others with professionalism and calm assurance in times of greatest need. And whereas first responders not only deal with emergencies, but also volunteer many hours of service to schools, governmental, and community organizations. And whereas all citizens should take some time to reflect on the job that is done by emergency services first responders, the emergency medical services providers, the police, and the firefighters that seldom take the awards and accolades home with them, but instead take the memories with them that members of the public rarely see because of those men and women who dedicate their lives to helping others. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved by the Board of County Commissioners for the County of Fremont that we join with the citizens of Fremont County on Friday, September 8th, 2017, in saluting the work and efforts of the first responders who answer the calls for emergency services and express our heartfelt gratitude for their dedicated service. And again, truly we do. We appreciate every single one of them and the job that they do.
We do, and I actually have several close friends that are first responders in one capacity or another, and I'd like to thank them and everyone else that is a first responder. And with that, Madam Chair, I move that we approve the ratification of signatures on resolution number 27.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to ratify signatures for Resolution 27. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Up next is we need to appoint 3 members to the Fremont County Airport Advisory Board for 3-year terms that will end on October 1st, 2020. So we had 3 openings. We interviewed 5 or 6 different folks, and this actually was a very, very hard decision for us. Sometimes it's pretty easy, other times it's not so easy. So we're trying to trust our instincts and select the best folks because we had some really great people apply for this.
And with that, Madam Chair, I make a motion that we appoint Rich Ledoux, James Wick, Lou Toxford to the Fremont County Airport Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending October 1st, 2020.
I second that.
It has been moved and seconded to appoint Rich Ledoux, James Wick, and Lou Toxford to the Fremont County Airport Advisory Board for 3-year terms that will end on October 1st, 2020. Further discussion? I simply would like to say thank you to all those who did take the time to apply for this board and who came in to interview. We had a really good time meeting and interviewing with those people, so I just wanted to give them all a shout out and say thank you. All right, I think we're ready for roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item, we have a meeting that we need to reschedule, and I think I will, without giving her advance notice, I'm going to turn to our county manager for a quick word of explanation.
So the week of November 27th is the CCI conference up in Colorado Springs. So the commissioners and myself will be gone on Tuesday the 27th and Wednesday the 28th. I'm sorry, Tuesday the 28th and Wednesday the 29th. So our normally scheduled meeting is on November 28th, and so we're asking to have that rescheduled to Monday, November 27th at 9:30.
All right, thank you for that, Sunny.
You're welcome.
So I think she gave a great explanation. I don't think anything else is needed other than a motion.
I move to approve rescheduling the meeting scheduled for November 28th to Monday, November 27th at 9:30.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to reschedule that second meeting in November from Tuesday the 28th to Monday the 27th, also to begin at 9:30 a.m. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Up next, 2018 holiday schedules. I can't believe we're talking this seriously about 2018 already.
That's what I said.
But time marches on, and apparently we are. So once again, we'll turn back to Sunny for an explanation here.
So in an effort to try to give staff a heads up on when the building will be closed if they want to make some vacations and stuff accordingly, we've prepared the 2018 holiday schedules. It's following the same schedule as we have in prior years. We're having a total of 90 hours of holiday pay for both the 8-hour shifts and 10-hour shifts. And the only change from this current year to next year is we are going to observe Veterans Day again. This year we actually gave it as floating holiday just because of how it fell. It falls on a Friday this year. We would have had to be closed on a Thursday, which wouldn't have quite worked with everybody's schedule, so we gave floating holiday. So next year it's going to be on a Monday, and so we will observe Veterans Day on Monday, the 12th of November. So that's the only change for next year.
All right, thank you, Sunny. Further discussion, gentlemen?
Move to approve the 2018 holiday schedules.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the 2018 holiday schedules for all Fremont County employees. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Up next, we're going to call on Sunny once again to discuss a resolution authorizing the assignment to the housing catalyst of a private activity bond allocation for the 2017 allocation year. All right, Sunny.
Okay, so each year the county is allocated private activity bonds, and we have the option to issue those bonds, to relinquish them to the state, or to carry those amounts forward. So this year we actually did have the Fort Collins Housing Authority, also known as the Housing Catalyst, approach us and ask us if we could actually allocate those bonds over to them. So they have a big project that they're building up in Fort Collins area, and I reached out to some of the different groups in our community to see if any of them could benefit from these bonds, and they couldn't. So at this point, we are asking for us to assign our private activity bonds over to them. And the total amount that we were issued this year was $2,327,950. And so these will be issued by that entity, and they will be able to move forward with their housing projects due to that.
Thank you for that explanation, and I think it's very important to note that we did ask Sunny to contact all those local folks who could potentially have been interested in doing something like this, because if we could have kept that locally, we definitely would have done that, but we're not losing anything then. Nothing is going out of the community by taking this action today. So thank you.
Is this Resolution 28?
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, I move to approve Resolution 28, which is authorizing the assignment of the private activity bonds to Housing Catalyst in Fort Collins
For the 2017.
for the 2017 allocation. Yep.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 28, authorizing the assignment to the Housing Catalyst of a private activity bond allocation for the 2017 allocation year. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
motion carries.
We have 4 minutes until our public hearing is scheduled at 10 a.m., and we have one more item on our agenda. So
Well done, Madam Chair.
They don't all work out this well, trust me. Item 7 under new business is a grant agreement with the State of Colorado Department of Transportation, Colorado Aeronautical Board Division of Aeronautics for the airport maintenance project, and authorization for the chairman to sign the agreement. I see we have with us this morning Richard Baker. He is our airport manager. Did you want to address this, Mr. Baker? Did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
Well, I can give you an update on the project. After the air show on Monday, two of the contractors are going to start working on the runway, the ramp area out there. The airport's going to be totally closed for 5 days. And we're hoping to get everything done before the October 1st deadline as far as construction of this type. So,
All right. Thank you for that. Sunny, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I do. So this grant agreement is for a total amount of $16,333. That's the state's portion. The federal portion of the project is $294,000, and then the local portion of the project is $16,334. And we are actually. I lost my train of thought here. Oh, so a part of this is actually there has to be a resolution signed as well. So we will need a resolution with this. It's part of the grant agreement that the state requires.
So it'll be 29.
Resolution number 29.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Any further questions, discussion?
What was our local again? 60,334?
16, yes.
334. And was that budgeted for the 2017 year?
Yes.
Good job.
okay.
With that, I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 29 for a grant agreement with the State of Colorado Department of Transportation, Aeronautical Board Division. This is for also authorization for the chairman to sign this agreement with these budget numbers that were discussed. Does that make sense?
It does.
Second that. Yes, it does.
Like you would have done any better.
Yeah, like you'd have done better.
We do have a motion and second on the floor for the chairman to sign the agreement, as well as resolution number 29, the grant agreement with the State of Colorado Department of Transportation, Colorado Aeronautical Board Division of Aeronautics for the airport maintenance project. Okay, I think that's it. All right, further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
motion carries.
Now, we do have one more minute, so I would like to ask Mr. Baker if you have anything about the air show on Saturday that you would like to discuss.
Sunscreen and portable seating.
Very important items to bring.
So,
But it's free,
yes,
no charge. We're expecting how many people to show up this year?
probably 5,000 to 6,000.
5,000 to 6,000 people. That's a lot.
So,
Our little airport does a really great job with their air show every year. It's gotten bigger and bigger, and now we've gone to an every other year format because it does take so much time and effort and energy. So thank you to not only you, but your staff out there, the board, and all of those volunteers who take so much time and effort and put into this for all of us to enjoy.
all right.
And do you have what times the events are happening?
Yes, the air show starts at 12 o'clock and will run till about 3:30, within 30 minutes or so. And then the breakfast, I believe it starts at about 7:30 till 11. And then Penrose Fire will do the lunch. And we will have some other food vendors out there. Transportation from the swimming pool in Florence to the airport will start at 9 o'clock.
And run through the end of the air show, I
Yes.
assume then?
Yes. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Dave.
And with that perfect timing, the hour has reached 10 o'clock, and I will call to order this public hearing. This is for a request for a conditional use permit, number 17-002, TZAC Pit number 2. This is for a conditional use permit by TZAC Stone Aggregate Supply, property located on the south side of US Highway 50, approximately 3 miles west of Colorado State Highway 69 at the intersection of 50 and County Road 37. This pit is a surface mine producing sand, aggregate, and rock products. Operation times Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we have with us the representatives. Do we have, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And your name is?
I'm Ken Clow.
Ken Clow. Good morning, Ken. I thought that was you, but I thought I better double check and make sure. So do you want to talk to us just a little bit about what your request is and why you're
Sure.
before us this morning?
This request for a conditional use permit is for an operation that has been ongoing since 1980. It is a family-held business in the inner canyon of the Bighorn Sheep Canyon, and for reasons of its somewhat remote location there relative to use, it varies greatly in any given year. And over the years, it would range from a few thousand ton produced from the pit to years like this year, where it's an integral part of the maintenance and paving projects that go on from time to time in the inner canyon. The pit looked at an expansion in acreage this year. According to this CUP, allows for that expansion to look at life of mine and being able to be prepared for future projects and a maximum amount of environmental control in the through the duration of the life of mine. The life of mine of this type of an operation is difficult to project accurately, simply because it may be a decade or more between the larger projects that drive the production rates in this mine. But it is a very important source, not only for paving operations, but for the materials, the raw materials that you see up and down the canyon in the park installations, the traffic control, the grading, and the erosion control, along with river restoration. These materials come from that pit and is a primary source of those materials that support the Bighorn Sheep Canyon and its public use. This is a locally owned pit and has supported residents in Fremont County for the past 37 years that live nearby the pit and keep a close eye on it, and also are supporting up to 20 people, 20 residents of Fremont County during the paving operations. And those are active operations that have been going on throughout the summer months and are continuing on Highway 9 at the present time.
All right, thank you so much. Can you tell us acreage-wise how large this, of an area that this permit actually covers?
This is just a little under 21 acres, and this would be the maximum acreage that we're projecting for life of mine. So it's expanded from just about a 10-acre pit to this 21-acre to look at the maximum potential reserves over life of mine.
Which actually have 160 acres, but only 20.
Only 20 there that reflect the
That
gravel resource that is necessary for this operation.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's go ahead and turn now to Matt Koch, our Director of Planning and Zoning, for a staff report. Morning, Matt.
Good morning. They did make a complete application. They did the publications in the newspaper. They did post the property with a sign and did the certified mailings to the adjacent owners and the required notifications. This mine has been in operation since around 1980. We found in January of last year that the CUP had actually expired. In discussions with them, they submitted their updated CUP application, which was a complete and full application for this site. It was reviewed by all the appropriate agencies. And there's just a few contingencies, and I'll run through those really quick. The first one is compliance with any corrections or recommendations from the Fremont County engineer based upon his letter dated June 5th and any subsequent reviews. And I understand that you have been in contact with our county engineer, Don Moore, and those corrections have been submitted. And in discussion with Don Moore, he was okay proceeding with this CUP. So the second one is a copy of the signed and completed access permit from CDOT. The third one is compliance with the Fremont County Department of Health based on their letter dated May 30th, 2017, and an approved copy of all applicable state permits and licenses, being the APINS, DRMS, stormwater discharge permit. They are asking for some waivers. The first one is for landscaping and the buffering plan, and then the lighting plan and the hard surfacing. The applicant has also stated that there are no designated parking areas that employees will park in. They will park in the areas where they're working on site. The site is so large that makes sense to have the employees parking where they're actually working. They are also asking for a waiver of the engineered stormwater report. In speaking with Don Moore, our county engineer, he did state that he was fine with that. He has worked with the developer of the stormwater management plan, who is Ken Clow, and in the past, and is satisfied with his work and his report. So he didn't have any issues with allowing that to be a non-engineered report. The conditions are part of your packets. I want to hit on two of them. The first one is letter A. This conditional use permit is for the life of use. The preceding CUP was actually, I believe, for 20 years, and so they are requesting life of use on this. The last one is item R, and that is in the time and event that the area within the CDOT maintained rights-of-way is to be processed, a valid form of approval from CDOT will be required. Some of this site actually, the way it works, there would be a high bank right along the highway, and it extends out into CDOT. CDOT right-of-way, and they are working with CDOT to try to develop those arrangements to remove that when the time comes. So when they get to that point, they will need to provide that to us. We have reviewed this and find the application represents their request, and we do recommend approval of it.
So this is hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday, correct?
Yes.
No Sunday operations?
No.
Okay. Gentlemen, do you have any questions for either Matt or Mr. Clow at this time?
Not this time.
I have one question. Throughout the application, it says 3 or 4 times that there's low visual impact from Highway 50. How do you see that that's low visual impact?
Well, it is an operation right on the highway, and certainly it has a visual impact, but it does not have the visual impact of a large operation, nor is it really a distraction because you are in a curve in the road, and traffic is basically in a curve and can drive by that site within a quarter of a mile or so, and it's done. It's gone. It's not a large-scale impact in that regard. Also, there's a viewpoint or a viewscape there that is much larger looking at the Sangre de Cristos than that small operation along the highway. So that viewpoint or viewscape aspect is certainly a matter of opinion.
It is, because I drove by it yesterday,
opinions.
and of course it drew my attention because I knew this was coming up, and I knew I could see it before, but I probably saw more of it yesterday than I've seen any other time I've drove by it because I was actually paying attention.
Well,
but
certainly we're looking at a situation at 5% of the time over the last 37 years have you seen the kind of equipment on site
right on the
to
edge.
Support paving operations,
Right.
and that's a tremendous difference. 95% of the time, this is a 2 to 3 man operation that is loading product from stockpiles, and no production equipment is ongoing. The heightened production rates that you see now are for short periods of time to support the paving operations. Once all the equipment is gone and the stockpiles are taken down, then the reclamation work that would follow this will go on this fall, and the visual impact will decrease drastically.
That was the second part of my question, reclamation. Thank you.
Okay. I have a quick question for Matt. You probably said this, but I missed it. Have the additional notifications that were required already been made, or they will be made?
They've already been made.
Already have been made. Okay, this is a public hearing, so at this time, I would like to ask if there's anyone in our audience who would like to rise and make comment to this board about this application. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Gentlemen, do you have further questions, discussion, issues?
Make a motion that we approved the conditional use permit 17-002 for TZAC pit number 2 with the 4 contingency items. I believe there was 4 waiver requests, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And then the conditions for approval,
Which are A through R.
which are A
Correct.
through R. Yes.
Resolution number?
30.
30.
30.
Okay.
I will second that.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve the conditional use permit for TZAC pit number 2. This is permit number 17-002. And this includes all contingency items, all waiver requests, as well as all conditions of approval as recommended by our Department of Planning and Zoning. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. And with
Thank you.
that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
There's 2 different ones there. This one just actually has the prices on it, which is good. It's cool, but the event is
She lives through me. Steph's like, just wait. He's 17.
so